Staring death in the face. All my mistakes have got a hold on me again. Here we go, another day, another fork in the road. I never know who to trust. Will someone just tell me which way to go? And I need a sign, I need a miracle. I need to know that this is possible. I just failed so many times. Is there any way that I can make it right? God, if you're there, I need to hear you now. Come back to me, love, I forgive you. Oh, how I've missed you. Just know every time you run, I'll be right here waiting. This is no ordinary love. Listen up, listen up. This is no ordinary love. Listen up, this is unconditional. I'm so afraid to admit that you're real, 'cause I'm afraid of what I might feel when your words start to come to life. It brings my demons into the light, but I know you're here. I shiver as you whisper in my ear. Child, have no fear. Come back to me, love, I forgive you. Oh, how I miss you.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Death by Tyranny podcast. This is officially going to be the first day that we are going live to YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, which is kind of complicated. So I had the intro song playing. I am going to shorten that up quite a bit because the people on Instagram obviously aren't going to be able to hear that. I guess not obviously, because it's going through the interface, and Instagram is going through my phone because it sucks. So I am going to officially go live on Instagram. If anybody prefers to watch over there, you're more than welcome to head on over. It's Death by Tyranny on Instagram, death_by_tyranny. There you go. So yeah, let's get ready to do this. And like I said, I'm probably going to repeat the intro for the Instagram crowd, so I apologize. Like I said, I wanted to do a test run last night. We did a test run on Instagram, and I wasn't able to have the time to do all three at the same time. So here we go. Wish me luck, guys. It's checking connection. All right, so it says we're live on Instagram. Welcome the folks on Instagram to the Death by Tyranny podcast. We did do a test run last night. Hopefully the audio sounds fairly decent. I am running off of 2 microphones. I understood that I had to run a USB mic to go through Instagram through my phone. And however, since I'm going live to YouTube and Facebook, I realized that I could still run an XLR Shure SM7B to those 2 platforms. So even though the Instagram crowd doesn't get the quality of the SM7B, they get the MV7, at least the other 2 platforms, the audio quality should be a little bit better. There's also a noise gate there. And so I'm in a mud room. I can only soundproof the room so much and still have it accessible to my family and their needs. So I apologize for the birds. It's storming outside. You'll probably hear some rain. And like I said, I know the Instagram crowd hasn't seen me in the struggles through the year of podcasting and the things that I've learned and the things that I now know are just things that I have to accept. And at the moment, I just have to learn to accept some of the exterior noises of the lean room. That's what I call this room. It's a lean room because it was an add-on to my house, and it's not done very well. So that's why we just use it for storage and obviously the podcast here. So if you were able to catch any of the live on Instagram last night and for the Facebook, YouTube crowd, I'm going to try to quit bringing that up. So, but anyways, I was telling everyone that I'm pivoting for probably the better part of the year of me podcasting. It's been more or less me bitching about politicians, and I felt like I was being that 2A Karen. And Dan Holloway talks about it a lot. You can't just bitch about it. You have to try to actively do something. And if all you're gonna do is bitch, you're just another person out there adding to the negative and not trying to add to the positive. So I thought, what could I do other than bring information to my friends and family and to other people that may listen or follow, besides bringing them information to things that they might not be aware of and the 2A community or what's going through Congress or what the ATF is trying to do? What else could I do to actively help? And I am fairly active on Instagram, just not in podcast form. And what I see a lot of is there is about 45% of the people on the Instagram gun community are military. And a lot of those people have some type of feelings or way that they feel about civilians owning certain things or doing certain things. I've even heard people that I respect and that I follow and listen to their podcasts say things like, if you believe that civilians should own rocket launchers, then you don't want to be a part of this conversation. And that's just nonsense. Obviously, the people that support the Second Amendment and want to make sure that America thrives and continues to survive, we know that we have to be part of that conversation. We're not just trying to be extremist here, but we also know that the offset of the balance that the federal government has as far as the capability of violence to the offset of the civilians is a little bit tilted in the federal government's direction. Now, obviously, we have the numbers, but they have the technology, they have the gear. And when Joe Biden said that we would need F-15s to defeat the federal government, it was a ridiculous statement, but he wasn't far off, right? He was speaking to some reality there that we are going to need as much as we could get. And I'm not trying to say that we need to stockpile. I'm not trying to say that we should actively be developing a plan to defeat the federal government. What I am saying is the option should always be there. And until the federal government recognizes and allows the civilian population to own whatever the federal government can own, and for that accessibility and ability to create and make violence is equal, then they will always take advantage. And the more that they take from us, and that's what's happening, they are taking more from us, the more they are able to take advantage of the federal bureaucracy and all the evil behind closed doors shit that they do. And they're doing it in front of our eyes. They don't even try to hide it anymore. I mean, right now, as this podcast is live, they are trying to pass an assault weapon ban again, even though they know that it doesn't work. But what they know that it works in the way that they need it to limit our ability to create violence or to go on the defense against them. So then they can still do shit like they did during COVID. They know the civilian mindset is so easily warped and brainwashed into doing what they need to do or what they need them to do, that now all they need is for the rest of the civilians to be disarmed. The ones that aren't easily brainwashed. They need them not to have the ability to fight back and to try to recapture some of the other civilians that have already been lost in the tidal wave of federal government propaganda, right? So that's a little bit about what we talk about here at the Death by Tyranny podcast. I will re-say this again, since this is the first official time we are live on Instagram. I did not actively serve in the military. I'm not proud of that, and I'm not ashamed of that. I have nothing against anybody that did serve in the federal government, or the military, any of the branches, nothing of that nature. In fact, they have all my respect in the world. Where they lose me is the ones that refuse to acknowledge that civilians should have access to all that training, all that equipment, and firearms, and ability to be able to do what they do overseas over here. And I know they've seen it, and I know that it's not a good thing. And I'm not promoting that. I'm not trying to actively have that happen here in America. But we have to have the ability. We have to be ready to make sure that the federal government knows its place. And until we can all get on board with that, they're just going to keep taking. They're going to keep taking advantage. They're going to keep taking our rights. They're going to keep destroying the Second Amendment. There are tons of groups out there that celebrate these little tiny victories in court cases, in federal government when it comes to Second Amendment rights. But in all reality, we are only getting back what has slowly been taken away from us. And in most cases, when we do have those little wins in the Supreme Court, or, defeating the ATF in whatever means it may be, they usually take more than we're winning back. The scale is very, very unbalanced here. And I don't have much more to say about that, and that's why we're going to pivot. What I want to try to do here, in including Instagram, is I know there are a lot of small companies on Instagram that support the Second Amendment. I know there are a lot of individuals that try to give knowledge free. I know there are a lot of individuals that collect and build certain firearms and firearm accessories. And I want to try to bring all that together. I want to see how willing and how amazing the gun community actually is. Because I see the fighting. I see the infighting with the military versus civilians, and the civilians saying the military is going to take the guns, and the shitty one sentence, two sentence comments that people leave. But when are we going to start bridging that gap? When are we going to start looking at post and seeing that at its best possible meaning, instead of immediately trying to dismantle or go on the defense? If you see somebody post something that you don't agree with, try to figure out the things that you do agree with, so maybe you can come to a compromise and ideas. If you see somebody that is spreading bad information, maybe not be an asshole about it. Maybe understand that they weren't privileged, or I hate using that word. They weren't privy to some of the training or things that you had access to. So just inform them, but you don't have to be an asshole about it. If somebody is building something and they're doing it wrong, shoot them a DM. Let them know, hey man, you might want to pull that red dot back a little bit, from where you have it. You're not going to get the best accuracy or mobility out of that setup. And there's people out there that do that. I understand that, but I want to shine some light on it. I want to start deleting and regaining the negative part of the gun community and bringing it to the positive. And even though it does happen, it doesn't happen enough. It should happen all the time. That's all that it should be. I spoke about it in the test last night on Instagram. The early stages of the Facebook AK community were fantastic, right? They had their downside. They didn't like AR guys. But now, as we are put in a position, and I know a lot of the people that are listening to this are old enough to have witnessed the loss of access we have to quality AKs. That's not right. And we let it happen. So when that started to happen, those AK Facebook groups got smaller and smaller. And so the people that were willing to spread that knowledge eventually turned quiet. And that's unfortunate because there was so much good that was coming out of that. And a lot of those guys I kept up with for years after that community was kind of dismantled. And there's somewhat of a footprint that was left that still remains, but they don't have the ability to do the things that they once did. When you could openly buy, sell, trade firearms on Facebook, I understand that might have maybe helped some of the people that have warped and just want to be criminals. But we as gun owners, law abiding gun owners, know that Facebook taking that ability away isn't stopping them from doing the things that they were going to do in the first place. But what it did do was it hugely impacted the access that other people had to knowledge, training, friendship, access to certain firearms that we can't get in the country anymore. We don't know where they are. We don't know who's selling them. And we've kind of found a way around it, right? The Mountain Dew can, that is for sale, with the AK behind it. I've spoke about this before as well. What if instead of trying to play ball with the social media sites, we just slowly started to push the culture in the other direction? And this is an idea, and it might be controversial here. I don't know. This is another reason why I don't normally go live to Instagram when I would talk about the things that I usually talk about in my podcast. So now that I'm pivoting, I feel comfortable coming on here. But before, I feel like there's too many people in the gun community that are for the free-for-all. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm for freedom, but there's a huge difference between a free republic and anarchy. And I think that line is very gray. And sometimes I think that people that are a part of the gun community spend spend too much time trying to blur that line, where let's, instead of worrying about what we can do, okay, let's think about what is the right thing to do. And if we focus on the right things to do, the freedom will come. It will be there. And people will fight for it and continue to fight for it and have fought for it. So that's the goal here with including Instagram on these live podcasts, is to hopefully draw in some of the great people in this community and bring them together. There are examples, like I said, there's tons of examples. I understand that, but there needs to be more. And the examples that there is can be bigger. So when we have two companies that do collabs for some of these hype beast drops, I have nothing negative to say about any of those communities or companies because I actively participate in it. You can maybe see some of the gear behind me. Those are from those drops. I am all for supporting those companies on Instagram and anywhere else, buying their products, sharing their media team and everything else. But if we're blocking people out, if we're being gatekeepers, and maybe not even on purpose, but subconsciously we're being gatekeepers because maybe this company only wants to fuck with the top tier companies on Instagram. But there's small companies, small creators, small business owners that make decent shit. Why not include them? Why not at the very least exchange ideas? Why not keep branching out? Don't just get stuck in this circle, in this echo chamber. For instance, and like I said, some of the examples here might sound like I'm being actively attacking some of these companies. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to offer different opinions and ideas to include more people. GBRS, for example, you're not going to catch them on people's podcasts like mine. They have already made it to the big leagues. They are already Black Rifle Coffee. And Black Rifle Coffee is another good example. They do incredible shit. I like listening to a lot of the podcasts they put out. A lot of the people that they have put on, so to speak, I enjoy. Dan Holloway, Drinking Bros, all those are great, fantastic podcasts to listen to. But they really focus on bringing in that veteran community. Why does it? I understand that they deserve it. I agree, they do. But what if we didn't worry so much about if it's a veteran, but worried more so about if it's the right thing to do? I think there are civilians out there doing good things and trying to be better and to grow things. And if they only had that opportunity, they could do wonderful things for the gun community and potentially protecting, preserving the Second Amendment. So why box them out? The civilians that I see that actively are able to climb the ladder on the Instagram top tier of companies, the civilian portion of that is very, very small. So we we have to understand that we to operate with those numbers, to bring in that kind of people into what we need to make sure that the federal government stays in its place and knows who's boss, so to speak. We need all of them. So you have the money, you have the access, you've made it abundantly clear that you take care of your own. Now, why not grow the community? Why not start letting people in that are like-minded, but didn't serve, but still want to fight for the same things here in country? Doesn't that sound like a great idea? Doesn't that sound like it would open up the opportunity for new, incredible, amazing shit? Now, I've just recently learned how to do all this. I'm still learning. I just figured out how to do all three of these at the same time. And it's probably not the best quality. It's what I'm able to do within my budget. But if I had an opportunity where a bigger company seen my passion and my drive for what I'm doing, and I had access to what they have access to, I have all kinds of things in my head that I could create. And one of the people I want to talk about here for a second, and I don't know, there might be some drama. Maybe, the gun community abroad on Instagram has kind of shunned him. I'm not saying they have or they haven't. I just don't know. I just became aware of his page. I do want to talk about him for a little bit because as far as content and inspiration goes, it was amazing. And I did share it as much as I could. And I believe it is War Bear. I would bring it up and share the screen, but I can't do that on Instagram. So I don't want to kind of leave you guys out. So you'll just have to take my word for it. Maybe we can search it up real quick just to make sure that I'm not putting out like misinformation or whatever. So yeah, it looks like there is Warbear underscore backup, and I believe he has his main page. I don't know if it is Warbear, and that's just it. I don't know why it wouldn't pop up. Come on, Instagram. Anyways, let's stick with Warbear underscore backup, because I'm sure from there you guys are smart enough to make it over to his main page. And the content that I'm talking about is on his backup page anyways. All right? So a lot of companies now, to promote their product, and some companies like this Warbear company aren't even really offering products. They might do like stickers and like some propaganda material, but they're not really offering products, so to speak, as far as soft or hard goods. What they are offering as a product is good content, is inspiration. And it's fucking amazing to see where these companies have taken the marketing development of products. Instead of seeing these shitty commercials interrupt, our podcast and our YouTube videos and everything like that, you get a 30 to a minute long segment of people doing incredible uh, filmmaking. I don't know, videography. I don't even know what you would call it. All I know is, as far as my podcast goes, I don't know if I financially can do the things that these guys are doing, but it's definitely the next thing I'm going to look into as far as content creation and trying to include that into my podcast instead of doing maybe the 2 minute warning with the background music. Maybe do a minute worth of some of this content from other people if they are willing to allow me to do that, until I am able to hopefully have the communication with them to figure out how to do it. And that's part of the goal here, right? It is to show that there are people in this community that do the things that you want to do, that have the things that you want to have. And you might have the ability to get that for yourself or to make that kind of content yourself. You just don't know the path. Well, somebody has already done it for you. Let's go find the cool motherfuckers that found that path and ask them if they'll show us the way. And hopefully we will see that this community is so fucking badass that they are willing to do that. That they are willing to come on, my podcast or on their channel, whatever. I don't really care. As long as I am able to communicate with the people that come across my podcast, that information is out there. That there are people that want to pick theirself up with one hand and with the other help someone else up. That's what I want to find. And I'm kind of all over the place. Instagram, if you don't know me personally or have never talked to me, I kind of will talk about something and forget about it and go on to something else. I have ADD, and it 100% affects everything. My work, at my physical job, here in my personal life, relationships with people, conversations I have. So I apologize. But what I do like to do is not really harp on the same thing for an hour long. We might talk about something else along the podcast to kind of break it up. And I think I've kind of got the message across, and to let the people here on Instagram know what my belief is as far as like the federal government, where I think the country is going, what we need to do to kind of prevent them from destroying it, and what I would like to do to actively help, or at least attempt to help. Now to kind of switch gears here, I do, and this is part of the pivot here as well, and also is an example of what I'm talking about. It's just a very broad example. When I say there are people here on Instagram that will help, and I want to find those people and spotlight them, this is a way that I think they can possibly be brought to the light, that they aren't hidden, that other people can find those good people with that good information. I am going to, I just realized this in my head as I was talking, but there's two cameras I'm looking at, so I apologize. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll take it out, but I may sell this. I'm not selling it right now, Instagram, so chill out. But I may potentially sell it later if I don't find out the information that I hope it is. I have a Block 2 build, 14.5, and I would like to get a flash hider pinned and weld onto it so I can put a normal stock on it. Not because I want to comply with the system or whatever, but along this pivot journey, this series, we're going to be searching out local ranges and trying to help out people and hopefully finding good people that have land that are willing to let people shoot on it, good training classes that are affordable. And I don't want to be on most of the bigger platforms actively doing something that the ATF can come after me for. So I guess I am complying, but it's not because like I agree with it. It's because I don't want to go to prison, uh, just because I'm trying to help. And it happens. There's a guy on YouTube right now fighting against the federal government and the ATF over the stupid, I don't know, the full auto cards. Maybe we'll talk about him another time. But I don't even know if both the audio is good. So this is the first official all three platforms podcast. So bear with me. Well, we got another, hopefully, couple of years to cover a lot of things. But so here you go. This is a Surefire 4-prong. So it's like legit name is FH556-215A. From what I understand, this is a 4-prong just like you see on most of the military M4A1s or the Block 2 builds. I kind of missed the boat. I had one on a URGI build, and I traded it to get another upper with an old school Geisley rail on it. And my dumbass didn't take off the 4-prong. I let him have it. I should have took it off and swapped it out with something else, but I kind of gave my 4-prong away. And the people that are selling 4-prongs on actual sites right now, if they're not surplus, which I would rather have a surplus. If anybody has one, let me know. But places like Charlie's Custom Clones or whatever, they are asking an ungodly amount. Well, at one point in time, Charlie's Custom Clone offered these. And I don't know what they were originally going for, but I think I bought this for about $150. And I guess the main difference here, I think it looks cool with the little sections cut out here. I'm not actually sure if that really does anything other than maybe save weight, or maybe that's part of the quick detach mechanism. But I guess there is the Surefire. What is that? The Surefire 556 suppressor. So that attaches to the main lockup system you see on most of the Surefire muzzle brakes and flash hiders. This one is different. I guess they came out with that same suppressor that was kind of more of a quick detach, even though I think the normal one's pretty quick. And that's probably why this never really got to the mainstream. It's got kind of like that AAC flash hider, knurling there. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. Like I said, I apologize for the ADD. I want to know if these were actually ever issued. Did any service branches run these on M4A1s or Block 2s? Somebody let me know that, because if they did, I will pin and weld this to my M4A1, but I don't want to do it if it was just kind of like they tried it, it didn't really work out, so they got rid of it. I don't want to do that. I'd rather have a 4-prong. And I also, Charlie's Custom Clones are out of stock on these, and I've only ever seen it for sale through Charlie's. Okay, so I don't know how rare they are. I don't know if they're valuable to other people, but if they are valuable, what's that?
Can I have your phone, please?
No, I'm on it.
Okay, bye.
Give me a second. Sorry about that. you get an on-air sign so people don't do that shit, and they still do it. But she kind of does what she wants. Anyways, um, I don't know if these are valuable or rare. If somebody could let me know, if you want to do it in the comments on the video, if you want to shoot over a message and just give me a little bit more information if you have it, I would appreciate it. And that's kind of the goal here with the pivot in the podcast, is to bring out those good people with that information to help people out. Okay, so it's two birds with one stone. I get to know what I have, pretty much. Like I said, I know what it is, but you know what I mean. I don't know if it's like a rare. They only had one box of them and sold them, and that's it. They're gone forever, so I should hold on to it. Or if they're not really sought after, they're not really a big deal, then maybe I get rid of it. Or I will tell you this. All right, just to wrap this up. If somebody has a normal 4-prong Surefire and is interested in this, maybe they have three or four prongs. Even if it's used, if it's a surplus, I don't care. If you want to do some type of trade deal, whatever, let me know, because I'm not attached to this. I really honestly don't even know how valuable or rare it is. I just know I've only seen it offered the one time through Charlie's. I bought one, and I'm not gonna pay $300 for a fucking 4-prong. I'll wait until I trade an upper or buy an upper and it comes with one, and I'll put it on my block too. But it's whatever. And I'm not in a rush by any means, because you guys don't know this yet on Instagram. But another reason that kind of guided me into pivoting into talking about other things and trying to accomplish a different goal with the podcast is because I got some information that's kind of like life changing, not for me personally, emotionally for me, but someone close to me got prostate cancer, and they're kind of going through the process, and it's devastating. And I realized the older I get, the male role models around me, the people that I looked up to and taught me how to be a man, they're that group is getting smaller and smaller. And I'm to the point where there's only one left. And if something was to happen, I no longer have that guidance. And that's part of the reason why I think this community is so important. And I want to help bring it together and to help shape some of the youth that is being introduced into the community here. So anyways, instead of just dwelling on the bad news, I've built Block 2s. This is my second one. I hit some kind of financial troubles when I was in an accident, and I had to pond it, and I wasn't able to get it out. I don't even like thinking about it, because it had one of the Colt M4 carbine lowers that Charlie's is trying to sell for $1,000 right now. I bought it for $175 off of Brownells, complete lower, on like a Memorial Day sale or something. Gone. Lost it to a pawn shop. Breaks my heart. But now my Block 2 that I have has an FN lower, which it's not really like clone correct, but it's got a FN surplus barrel. So maybe the FN lower, you get what I'm trying to accomplish here. So we've got the Block 2s done here. I've built the HRT FBI, the green Geisley rails, 11.5. I've built those. I sold that. I would like to make another one. I want a gray rail, though, to be honest. I had one, and I sold it and kept the green one and built the green one, and I should have built the gray one. So we've done the HRT clones, and I've done the URGI 10.3. So the CQB, well, we've done that here too. What I have not done yet is an MK12. And the first clone that I ever wanted to build was the M4A1 Block 2. That's why When I built it and lost it, I had to build another one immediately. But the very next clone that I wanted to do was the MK, the Mark 12, and I wanted to do the Mod 1. But I knew that they were a little bit more pricey. And to be honest, the availability of the clone correct scopes kept me away from it. And I've decided, with the time that I have, no matter how long it is, whether it's 30 days, 30 years, I want to try to spend as much time with this person and develop something like a new skill set that we can learn together and I can pass on to my son. And hopefully that will be something that just keeps going. And so we're going to build the Mark 12 Mod 1. I don't know how close it's going to be to being clone correct. And I know how snobby some of the cloners can get. So I apologize in advance. I only have so much financial budget to work with. And I don't want to stall because I can't get the correct rail or I can't get the correct scope. But what I would like is for people to comment and to kind of guide me in a good direction to say, hey, it's probably going to be hard to find the Night Force or the Leopold scope that you're looking for, but a great alternative is this. Or, hey, I know you didn't serve, but some of the people that were issued the Mark 12, they swapped out optics and they used this. It's just not commonly known. I know that it is known that people would swap out optics for things that they preferred over what was issued. I just don't know what they had access to. So technically, I guess it could be clone correct, but I don't know what those options are or what they look like or how hard they are to find. I highly doubt that the one that I'm looking at right now is clone correct or was ever used on a Mark 12 in a combat scenario, which is the primary arms 2.5 by 10. I think it's the gold series or the GLS or GLX, one of those. Now, from the information that I have access to, which is just YouTube, I'm hoping to grow the access to knowledge here through this. Just wink, wink, another example. That primary arms is one of the best options that's out there. That's a pretty decent price, but the 2.5 scopes are kind of getting pushed out of the market. You're either going to see like the 1 to 6, 1 to 8s, or you're going to go into the 3.5 to 4 to 16s or whatever. And I would like to kind of stay in that 2.5 range unless there was something that was swapped out that works better. And I'm just waiting for somebody to give me access to that knowledge is all. So where we are at building the Mark 12 is it's been ordered. We ordered it through, what is it, Thoroughbred? Don't want to. We'll look it up. We'll look it up real quick. Yeah. So we ordered it through Thoroughbred Armament. I believe he's out of Kentucky. He doesn't have a storefront. I messaged him. I was going to go pick it up because I live fairly close. Not in Kentucky, but fairly close. And every once in a while, he builds these kind of unique Mark 12 uppers where they'll have a different rail. They'll have like a Centurion Arms rail, or they might have a Geisley rail. And the one that we ordered was the Mark 12. He calls it the Mod T, and it has the Geisley. Like I said, this is going to be part of the series, so I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys all the information in case you want to kind of play along at home here. I guess it would help if I went to his website, right? Probably. Oh, I don't know what this is here. All right, search. So we're going to do Mark 12 mod Oh, that's Mod T. All right, that didn't bring it up. I don't know if it'll bring up out of stock items. So, and I'm not going to spend forever on this either. So if it doesn't like show up, I'm not going to waste your guys' time here. I want to know what rail it comes on, because I'm going to more than likely take it off. And I'll tell you why here in a second. I just could have sworn that oh, maybe we bought the last one. All right, we'll go one more page, and then if it's not on this page, we'll be done with it. Yep, I don't see it. So, anyways, it is a Geisley rail for sure. I believe it's the Mark 14. It's 13.5 inches, and the reason why I don't think that it's a bad rail, and I would leave it on there. I truly would, but it covers up the gas block, and to me, changing out the Knight's Armament rail for a Geisley rail seems like a fairly normal thing to do. But I think if you cover that gas block on something that's supposed to resemble a Mod 1, you're kind of destroying some of the nostalgia there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to take that 13.5 inch rail off. Wink, wink. That'll probably be on the market at some point. If you're interested, let me know. All right, so this is something I didn't try on the test last night, so I don't know. I don't know if this is a no-no. So if you get to this point in the video and you know, let me know. If Instagram gets upset when you play with things that go bang on live streams. But just in case, we will try to play by their rules. And so we took the lower off here. There you go. The lower's off. What I have here is a Sons of Liberty Gunworks 13.7 pinned and weld. This is also free to anybody that is willing to send money. I don't know how to put it without getting in trouble, so I don't want to I'm getting rid of it. How about that? We'll leave it at that. Like I said, we're going to start pushing the culture for censorship and the ability to be free on these platforms a little bit. That's another goal here. So, like I said, I will be getting rid of the 13.7 Sons of Liberty Gunworks upper, but it is just going to be the barrel, the gas block, and the upper receiver, possibly the Midwest Industry bolt that's in it, and the Geisley charging handle. But my dad wants the sights here, and this is a MK1 Mod 1, and I would like more information on this rail. I don't know if it was ever used in any issued to any of the branches on any of the rifles over there. But if it was, that would be super cool. But I also like this rail, and I know they don't make them anymore, so I'm going to put this one on the Mark 12 Mod T, because this is only 13 inches. So it's going to expose that gas block, because the Knight's Armament rail was 12.7 inches. So it might be close, but it should expose it enough to where I get the correct look that I'm going for. So, like I said, we're going to swap out the MK14 or Mark 14 Geisley rail on the Mark 12 upper and put on the Mark 1 Mod 1. So that's where we're going to go with that. That's really all I have right now. I know that I'm interested in a PRI A2 stock. I like the look of the A2 stocks, even though we're kind of doing our own thing with the Mark 12 build. I still would like a PRI A2 stock, FDE, if I could get it. So if you have one of those and you would rather have a 13.7 Sons of Liberty upper, maybe we can work that out. And if you have anything else that you would think would come in handy in a Mark 12 build, that so I'm trying to think of what all I need here. As of right now, I'll probably just swap my M4A1 lower, the FN lower. I'll probably just swap that back and forth from the Block 2 to the Mark 12 for now. Eventually, I'll try to get a Colt or one of the Thoroughbred armaments. He just came out with some lowers that are like kind of marked like the old U.S. government property Colt lowers. I might try to get one of those and build it. Or I'm a huge fan of what is it? Criterion Arms. I like what they're doing out there, so I might try to get one of those lowers. But as of right now, I know I want to go with something completely unique as a stock. Maybe one of the new B5 system stocks. If I don't do an A2 style stock, but I probably will go with the PRI A2 stock, and so I need one of those, and I need a Knights 2-stage trigger or a